Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural broadcast of the Trib Sports Report. I'm Andrew Deardahl, sports editor of the Albert Lea Tribune, and you're listening to the first of many weekly podcasts on albertleatribune.com. I know it's Thursday, but the Trib Sports Report will typically publish every Friday at 10 in the morning. The podcast will feature interviews with local coaches and athletes with commentary on the local, regional, and national sports scene. It will also occasionally be co-hosted by Tribune sports writer Garrett Wampler, who started in the sports department last Friday after serving as an intern in the newsroom this summer. Garrett is a native of York, Pennsylvania, who lives in Albert Lea with his wife, so look for him on the sidelines this fall. One of the goals of the Trib Sports Report is to get reader involvement. While the show is pre-recorded and we cannot take calls live, I ask a week in advance for readers' questions for the scheduled guest. We had only one response this week, but if you'd like to ask next week's guest a question or leave a comment, email it to andrew.deardahl@albertleatribune.com with the subject Trib Sports Report. Next week's guest will be announced later today. Our guest today is Max Jeffrey, the newest head coach of the Albert Lea Tigers football program. Welcome to the show, Coach, and congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Coach Jeffrey and the Tigers begin their season tonight at 7 p.m. at the Waseca Blue Jays, a team the Tigers beat 29-7 in last season's opener. Coach, what are you looking forward to tonight in your head coaching debut?
I guess just to get things kicked off, we had our scrimmage last week. Got a lot of film, which was good, so we get to see our guys and see what kind of little things we need to make changes to. I'm just really excited to get and kick off the first, 7 o'clock here, and I guess there's going to be some butterflies from everybody, me included.
You were hired as the coach on June 2nd. Can you talk briefly about what the interview process was like and what your first reaction was to the good news?
Yeah, the one thing that they did, they waited a little bit to post the job, so I had some time to mull it over whether or not I really wanted to. In deep down in my heart, I really wanted to be the head coach of the Tiger football program. It's a great program that was for me in high school, and so I just kind of rallied some troops around and asked them for some advice and put my application in and got a call for an interview and answered all the questions, and I thought it went really well. And when I found out, actually, I was at home with my son who was ill, and Mr. Double, the new AD, gave me a call and offered me the position. I was super happy.
Good, yeah, and you inherit a team that lost a lot of seniors last season, especially on the offensive, defensive line, Caleb Gaudy and Alex Nielsen. But you do return some very talented, skilled position players. What types of things are you going to do as a coach to compensate for the lack of experience on the line to make sure that your quarterback, running back, and wide receivers can succeed?
It's all about getting reps. I mean, we need to have our offensive linemen take team reps. We get different looks against different defenses. So Coach Webb and the offensive line, we're working really hard together. Those guys have got to come together. We call them the meat and potatoes. If you don't have the meat and potatoes, you have no home cooking, and so that's what we kind of talk about. And those guys they're in a position where they don't get all the glory. They don't get their names in the paper. You don't see them scoring the touchdowns. But if it's not for those guys up front, we don't have anything, and you really have to control the line of scrimmage. So we have some guys that are going to fill in and hopefully do a great job for us, and we're looking for that. We need it.
Yeah. And it's been a while since the Albert Lea football program has had significant success as far as wins and losses. And it's not too much to say that while the program is competing in the Big Nine Conference, in the foreseeable future, it's going to be tough to contend for a Big Nine championship. With that said, as a coach, how are you going to determine success?
Success is the kids have fun. I mean, really, wins and losses will take care of themselves. We're going to work hard. We're going to prepare, just like for tonight's game. We're going to be prepared to play. But in the overall grand scheme of things, Andrew, if you don't have any fun, then why are we out here? And so I think if the team has fun and if the kids can look back on it 5-10 years from now and say, boy, we had a great time playing football, that's really what it all comes down to. And that's what I'm looking forward to as a coach, and my staff is the same thing. Wins and losses will take care of itself, but what do you take away when you're all done?
Yeah. And we had one reader question this week from Paul Earhart. He wanted to know, as a coach, of these facets of football, which are the most important to you as far as implementing your schemes and coaching? He wanted you to rank them 1 through 5. I don't know if you can or not, because I know they're all important, but passing game, running game, special teams, defense, and the offensive line.
I think if you start up front with the defense and offensive line, that's where you need to control the line of scrimmage. There's no doubt about that. We talked about that just a little bit earlier. We've got some guys who are inexperienced, but they are working hard, and it's all about technique and having a little desire, a little fire inside. I think one thing that people don't, sometimes they take for granted is special teams, which we call special forces. I think that we are really going to try to excel, and we've talked to the guys about it, about taking pride in our special forces. And so you're going to see those kids come out and perform very well. If you think about ranking them, running game, passing game, special teams, don't forget about defense overall. We need to have great defense. And for us, we need to control the ball. And I think we need to run the ball well, and we need to control the ball with a short passing game. And once in a while, we're going to take our shots deep because we have to, and we'll have an opportunity to do that. And we have athletes to do that with.
Yeah, and you're playing a team tonight, Waseca, that you've become familiar with over the past few seasons. I believe you're 2-3 against them with 4 regular season matchups and 1 section tournament matchup. What do you know about this year's Blue Jay squad, and what's your game plan to sort of even the series?
Well, they're a good ball club. I was just telling the guys earlier this week in our film session, I read them a little paragraph about Waseca, about the things they've done this summer, going to South Dakota State camp, and they've done a passing league in Mankato. So they're a good ball club, and we just need to match their level of intensity. And many times people think because they're a Class 3 school and we're 4, we should just go, and take care of business. It's not that way. They're a good football team. They've won a lot of games in the past. So to even the series, I guess we got to come out. We got to be explosive from the very, very start, and we got to have 4 quarters of effort.
And I know one of the things you talked about when you got the job is sort of reworking the team's offense to something more of like a spread offense, something entertaining to watch, fun to play. For fans who are going to travel to Waseca tonight, what can they expect to see from you guys offensively?
Well, we're going to show Waseca some different looks on offense. We're going to spread it out. We might go trips to one side and single receiver to the other side. Our quarterback has a lot of responsibility on making reads, which means he needs to read what the defensive player is doing after the ball is snapped to determine where the ball goes, whether he keeps it himself to run, whether he hands it off. And he's also got to read the defense in the passing game too. So just because we're spreading them out doesn't mean we're going to throw every down. Mankato West is good at doing that. They've done it for years. I think for us, because we have great skill guys, I think we can spread it out too, but look for us to run the ball a lot. We need to control the clock.
Okay. And before we end here, I know you're an NFL fan. Just wanted to get your take on the Vikings this year and how you see the NFL North playing out top to bottom.
Unfortunately, you got to talk about the Packers first, and Coach Webb would be the first one to say that they're going to win the Super Bowl again. And but I'm excited to see Donovan McNabb play. I think Christian Ponder pick was good. I think we need to have a quarterback of the future, and I think he's our guy. But he needs to learn a little bit. And without mini camps and the OTAs because of the lockout, I think they made a great move in bringing in McNabb. And I think Adrian Peterson's just going to got to have a stellar year. And of course, it's a contract year for him too. So those things kind of factor in. But of course, I'm looking forward to Saturday and Sunday football besides our own Friday nights.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you so much.